Donald Trump may soon visit the U.S. Capitol in an effort to help House Republicans elect a new speaker and unify the party. Sources are telling NBC News the former president may visit the Capitol early next week. Now, if he does, it would be his first time there since the January 6th insurrection. This potential visit comes as a few Republicans have suggested that Trump run for Speaker himself. You don't have to be a member of the House to be Speaker. While the GOP frontrunner says he's remaining committed to running for president, he did entertain the idea for a little while yesterday, but then a short time later endorsed Jim Jordan for Speaker, but also offered to step in to Speaker temporarily if the Republicans can't decide on a new leader. Basically, who knows? Joining us now, congressional reporter for Axios, Sophia Kai. Maybe she can provide some answers. So, Sophia, what is the thinking here, if there is any, from Trump camp about this potential visit to the Capitol? Does he actually want to step in to be Speaker? Is this just an effort to gain attention, to distract from his legal issues? And isn't there some risk involved if he goes there and starts whipping votes for Jim Jordan, but Jordan can't get to the magic number?
Yeah, so here's the thing. He loves to sow chaos. He also loves to insert himself into the news. He's been sitting there and reveling in the 4 days of back-to-back coverage. And so even if he does not ultimately pursue the speaker, which I really don't think that he's seriously considering, and even if he doesn't go to the Capitol, which, you know, that is a more serious idea. And someone close to him told me last night that he is the closest as he's ever been to returning to the Capitol for the first time since January 6th. And so I think the thinking is he wants to show that he is still the face of the Republican Party and that he will get the nomination.
Yeah, he's desperate for attention. And yes, if he were to go there and unify the party, that just cements himself that much further as being the face of the GOP. But there's some risks involved, too. So let's turn to your new story this morning, Sophia, about the sort of the Never Trump movement within inside the GOP that, is frankly faltering, is melting away with Trump in such a commanding position in all of the early polls. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of data points here that show change, right? You've got a Club for Growth affiliated PAC that recently told donors that they spent $6 million testing 40 anti-Trump messages, and none of them have worked. You've got another PAC, Republican Accountability PAC, that announced that it's going to stop spending money in the Republican primary. It's going to turn its attention to the general. And so you've got also people who are not really Trump fans, people like Brian Kemp. He has recently said that if Trump does win the nomination, then, Brian Kemp would support him. And all of these things are really just indications that the Republican Party has what I like to call Trump inevitability setting in. And that's kind of a reality that they've turned around to in the last couple of months, whether they like it or not.
And lastly, Sophia, tell us about the state of Governor Ron DeSantis' campaign, who for so long was considered the leading Trump alternative. His campaign launch has been nothing short of disastrous, slipping in the polls. You had an event in Florida yesterday with some sheriffs. That's a team that's desperate for a real reset, a real reboot. Are there any signs that's happening?
Yeah, I don't know yet, John, about that one, because they've been struggling with attendance at some of their events. We know the biggest sign of change in terms of the money support is that some of his biggest donors, including Robert Bigelow, including Ken Griffin, these are people who spent tens of millions of dollars on Ron DeSantis previously or for his gubernatorial run, and they've both paused their support, at least for now, saying that they either don't agree with the strategy or they just don't see him as a viable candidate. And so we know that, deep-pocketed donors, they're still giving DeSantis and Haley a look, but they're really trying to decide if at all it is worth putting their money behind another alternative.
All right. Congressional reporter for Axios, Sophia Kai. A lot of good reporting this morning. Thank you for joining us.